to your wheelhouse here, Harry. And Brett Favre said something really interesting to TMZ. He said that Davante Adams might have a bit of a fall off here now that somebody not named Aaron Rodgers is throwing him the football. Here's the exact quote from Brett Favre on TMZ. It's just hard to shift gears, especially from a player as prolific as Aaron Rodgers. I'd be shocked if he had the same year. I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback, but he's not in Aaron's league yet, may never be, and that's no disrespect. Maybe no disrespect. If you say it's no disrespect, is it no disrespect? With all due respect, no disrespect. Normally you're setting some things up for a little disrespect, but yes. I can't find this comment. I can't find it very controversial, Harry, even though it's fine, slightly disrespectful to Derek Carr. But the reality is Derek Carr ain't Aaron Rodgers, right? That Derek Carr did not just win back-to-back MVPs. That Aaron Rodgers guy did. I don't feel like that's super controversial to say.
No, listen, when you look at a guy like A-Rod who won back-to-back MVPs, they went 13-3 the last 3 seasons, had the number 1 seed a few of those seasons as well. When you look at guys like Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be hard to just say, hey, what quarterback can we find that's like him, right? When you look at the NFL right now, I think it's only one person that you can put above, or possibly arguably 2. You look at a Tom Brady who's won 7 Super Bowls, and then you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But even when you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers does things that you don't see things that people can do. Like Patrick Mahomes can do a lot of great things, but A-Rod, the way he throws the football, the way he drives, rolling to his left, throwing across his body, the zip that he has on it. I remember playing against Aaron Rodgers when I was in Atlanta. We played in Green Bay. It was like -3 degrees. And I remember Jordy Nelson ran a double move, and I was like, okay, the backside corner, True Fun, is going to intercept this football. Aaron Rodgers put it on a line, on a rope, to the point to where the backside corner replacing the safety couldn't even get to it. So he has those intangibles. But let's be serious here, okay? Brett Favre is acting like Davante Adams is going to somebody that's a slouch. Did we forget that Davante Adams and Derek Carr played together at Fresno State? Not to mention, in 2 years, Davante Adams caught over 3,000 yards from Derek Carr and over 38 touchdowns. Let's not act like this relationship is boring. These guys are best friends. They hang out a lot in the offseason. I've seen it with my own eyes, the chemistry that they do have. And let's remember, Davante Adams is not going to have the same numbers because he's going to have better help with him in Las Vegas. He has a guy, Hunter Renfrow, who's one of the better slot receivers in the game. He has a top 4 tight end in Darren Waller. You have Demarcus Robinson, who came over from Kansas City, who's going to be joining them as well. Also, you have Josh McDaniels, who we've seen that can be a hell of a play caller and dial up some things from his days being in New England. So the circumstances are going to be different for Davante Adams in Las Vegas because he has more help around him. And also you have another tight end in Foster Moreau who can play at a high level. So I think Davante Adams is going to have a lot of success. Are the numbers going to look the same? No, but he's going to have help around him more so than he did in Green Bay.
I think Derek Carr is traditionally underrated and undervalued, frankly, in terms of just quarterbacks in the league. And you can't say enough about how he handles himself, right? And all the adversity that team faced last season. I mean, last year alone, just within a span of a few months, from Gruden's resignation to Henry Ruggs' third DUI crash to Arnett's release. I mean, It was one thing after another for that team, and yet he kept that ship as right as he could. He ended up throwing for a career high over 4,800 yards. He led the Raiders to their second playoff appearance in the last 19 seasons. It was impressive that he was the leader and what he was able to do with all of that going on. Now, like you mentioned, he's got his college best friend who he's throwing footballs to, who also happens to be a brilliant receiver. And so that connection is going to look good. That connection looked phenomenal in college. There's no reason to believe that it wouldn't even be better now when both of those guys are better throughout their professional careers, of course, than they were back in college. I don't know what to expect from Josh McDaniels now running the offense. There's still question marks on this team. I don't have concerns about the Derek Carr, Davante Adams relationship. But again, though, I still don't think it's crazy to say it may not be as good as when Aaron Rodgers was throwing him the football. There's only as many glowing things as I just said about Derek Carr, and I'm one who really values Derek Carr. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is like that elite. There's maybe, like you said, one guy I would put above. I wouldn't even put Patrick Mahomes above him. I mean, Tom Brady's the only one going above him right now on that list of current quarterbacks for me. And so I don't think it's crazy to say that, hey, when you don't have, the best quarterback in the league or the second best quarterback in the league anymore throwing you the football, it might be a little bit different. If you're watching us on television right now, you just saw that they put up the graphic with the numbers, the difference between Derek Carr's career stats and Aaron Rodgers' career stats. It's inarguable, Harry. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback, as great as Derek Carr is, again, and as undervalued as I believe Derek Carr is. So I wouldn't be surprised if the production does fall off some for Davante Adams, but he knows that, right? I mean, He's not going there for the numbers. That's not why he went to Las Vegas.
Well, one of the top reasons why he's going to Las Vegas is the relationship that he has with Derek Carr. And not saying that him and Aaron Rodgers didn't have a great relationship, but I think the relationship with him and Derek Carr is better. Listen, these guys work out together in the offseason, on multiple occasions. Every offseason, they work out together in the Bay Area. They have homes out there. Davante Adams has a home in Las Vegas as well. So these guys spend a lot of time together, not to mention they were together in college, and they put up a hell of a numbers. So when you look at from a relationship standpoint, the chemistry is going to be there instantly. It's not like you're like Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos, and he has to develop that chemistry with those receivers. These two guys already have that chemistry with one another from what they did in college and how they work out together in the offseason with one another as well.
It's also not crazy to say that Aaron Rodgers' production might fall off some when he's not throwing the football to Davante Adams anymore, right? Like, that's a symbiotic relationship. That works both ways. We have the same conversation about another very top-tier quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. What's that going to be like now that he's not throwing the football to Tyreek Hill? Presumably, Tyreek is probably going to take a little bit of a step back with Tua at the helm instead of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, again, maybe you still... I'm a Dolphins fan. Maybe a lot of Dolphins Nation still holding on to the rope. They still believe in Tua. Maybe he ends up meeting all of our expectations this season, but the expectation can't be Patrick Mahomes, right? And because again, we're talking so elite, so it wouldn't be crazy even if Tua has a great season. It still wouldn't be weird if Tyreek takes a little bit of a step back in terms of his numbers, but so may Patrick Mahomes because he's missing his number one target there in Tyreek Hill. We'll see what this means for Aaron Rodgers, but when he's not throwing Davante Adams the football, and by the way, new guys on that team, young guys on that team, like it might look different for Aaron Rodgers, Harry.
Oh yeah, like it's a different ball game when you can just drop back and you know a guy's going to be in the spot that you want him to be in, and you can just throw the football up to him, and you can bank on and count on him making plays over and over again. Now you have a Christian Watson. They still have an Allen Lazard who has the chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. You have Amari Rodgers. You have Randall Cobb. They have Sammy Watkins that they brought back. So now that chemistry with all those guys, except for Randall Cobb because they've been together for so long, is going to have to develop. And will Aaron Rodgers be patient with those guys for it to be able to develop? Christian Watson is a guy that I was high on coming into the draft, and I think he can make some noise for them and make some plays, but will Aaron Rodgers have the patience to be able to deal with the Christian Watson and bring him along versus him just starting out fast? If he doesn't start out fast, will he have that patience? But this is going to force not just Aaron Rodgers, but Matt LaFleur to be that much great when calling plays and dialing things up. He's going to have to utilize those running backs in dynamic situations. Aaron Jones is a guy that you can flex out, and he can run different routes on the route tree as well. They're going to get their tight end back, Tunyon, who tore his ACL last year. So they're going to have to find a lot of dynamic ways to be able to make plays down the field, but may also have to rely on their run game a lot more this year, more so than they did in years past.
We see the phone line lighting up. You can join the conversation at 888-CESPN. I see you, Jerry, Chip, hang on for us. I see that you guys want to get back to NBA free agency talk. Give us a call about any of this, Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, or anything NBA free agency. You can give us a call, 888-729-3776. It seems like the Packers are counting on the fact, Harry, that Aaron Rodgers can make the next Davante Adams, right? Where they're like, all right, I mean, it wasn't their choice that Davante walks. They tried to keep him, but at the same time, they're probably thinking, well, we got to keep, the generational quarterback, which frankly is more important because of the importance on that position. And that guy's good enough that he'll make the next Davante Adams out of one of these guys, particularly the rook.
And he should be able to. Because we're talking about a guy who won back-to-back MVPs, but I also think the Green Bay Packers, when you look at the moves that they made in the draft, defensively, you look at free agency and what they were able to do. They're going to get Jair Alexander back at full strength. Louisville, shout out to my Louisville connection there. But when you look at what they did defensively, I think they're going to bank a little bit more defensively as well this year. So look for all those things. Aaron Rodgers, a guy who won back-to-back MVP, should be able to step up his play and make these young receivers better, and also their defense being better this year than they were last year.
So Brett Favre making waves on TMZ, giving us the content here on a July 4th, which we very much appreciate. So keep doing that, Brett. But at the end of the day, I don't really think anything he said was that controversial. It stands to reason that both Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers might take a little step back from missing each other, at least initially.
I got a question, Amber. Did Brett Favre make this statement in those damn Wranglers and that copper fit that he has on? Like, come on, Brett.
Copper sleeves everywhere. You know it. That's how Brett Favre does it. This is how we do it here on KJM. Amber Wilson and Harry Douglas. We're filling in for the guys. Happy Independence Day, America. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and get to the phone line again. 888-SAY-ESPN if you want to chime in. Esteban in Indiana. What is up, Esteban? Am I saying your name properly first? And what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
No, thanks for asking, Amber. As Stephen A. Smith would tell us, it's pronounced Esteban. Or Esteban. Esteban will work too. But Amber, I just want to call in and say we're putting way too much credit in Aaron Rodgers. Coming off a year where he just lost a really bad playoff game against the Niners, didn't set the world on fire against the Cardinals, plays the Lions and a gutted Vikings defense twice a year. Of course, well-documented success against the Bears twice a year. This is a guy who very much relies on his mobility, has 30, is taking some shots now. I mean, he's not a spring chicken anymore. Just lost his top target. He force-fed targets to in the second half of the playoff game. I think we're ready to see a decline here, and I think my Bears and Justin Fields are going to have something to say about the North this year.
Is the back-to-back current reigning MVP, Harry Douglas, getting too much of a pass? Because, I mean, to his point, right? Like, we would expect a player of that caliber to be winning Super Bowls out here, and Aaron Rodgers is definitely not doing that right now.
Well, it depends on, are we talking about the regular season or are we talking about the playoffs? If we're talking about the regular season, no, he's not getting too much of a pass. If we're talking about the playoffs where we expect Aaron Rodgers to win another Super Bowl or two at some point, then no, we're not giving him a pass. You talk about the regular season, Aaron Rodgers has been phenomenal in the regular season the last 3 years, especially. The last 2 years, he just won back-to-back MVPs. But I think where he's come up short has been in the playoffs. And the caller just mentioned the way he was force-feeding the ball to Davante Adams in the playoff game. Yes. And late in that game, if he makes the correct read to another different wide-open wide receiver coming open on an in cut, which is you go up about 14, 15 yards and then you break in, they probably win that game against San Francisco as bad as they played as a team still. But he did not make that read. He tried to force feed Davante Adams, throwing it downfield, I think, on a post route, and it wasn't successful. So now Aaron Rodgers is going to be forced to diversify the football to a number of different guys because Davante Adams isn't there. And I think that's one of the things that you kind of seen when Davante Adams didn't play for the Green Bay Packers. It forced Aaron Rodgers to diversify the football to a lot of different other people. Now, granted, it's going to be for a 17-game span now and not just 2 or 3 games. We're going to see how he's going to be able to do it with that on the line.
Harry Douglas showing off all the film he watches with that end cut on that one play. We get it, Harry. Okay, we know you're out here still watching all the game film. I do think Aaron Rodgers gets a little bit of a pass. You know, the expectation it should be winning in the postseason and winning actual championships in the postseason, and he doesn't do that. So I don't care that, yes, he's a great performer in the regular season. You're the reigning MVP. You're still at the height of your game. And also, you did have Davante Adams. I do wonder if at some point, the deterioration of that relationship ends up being a little bit more of a knock. Like if it looks great in Vegas and Davante Adams makes Derek Carr take this next great step and the Raiders are really a force to be reckoned with this season, I do wonder what the narrative is then around Aaron Rodgers if he takes a step back because he doesn't have the same talent to throw to anymore, or it's budding talent and it's just not